Los Angeles, California, 1975. The Record Plant Recording Studio. Late at night, Stevie Wonder was in the middle of recording what would become Songs in the Key of Life. The sessions had been going on for months. Stevie working obsessively, perfectionist, visionary, creating music that would change everything. Muhammad Ali was in town for press obligations, promoting an upcoming fight. The usual circus of interviews and appearances, and people wanting pieces of his time. He'd heard Stevie was recording nearby, had always respected Stevie's music, the way he created entire worlds through sound, the way being blind hadn't stopped him from seeing more than most sighted people ever would. Ali's manager arranged a visit, late night, after Stevie's session. Just a quick hello between two legends, two men at the peak of their respective crafts, both transcending their fields, both using their platforms for more than just entertainment, both understanding what it meant to be black and excellent and unapologetic in America. Ali arrived around midnight. The studio was dimmed, soft lighting, the kind of atmosphere where creativity flows, where barriers come down, where real conversations happen instead of the performative exchanges that fill most celebrity encounters. Stevie was at the piano, playing something that wasn't on any album yet, just exploring, finding melodies. His fingers moving across keys like he could see them, like the music was visible to him in ways it wasn't to anyone else. Someone told Stevie that Ali had arrived. Stevie stopped playing, smiled that Stevie smile, the one that made you understand that blindness hadn't taken anything from him, had maybe given him something most people didn't have, a different way of perceiving, of understanding, of knowing. Muhammad Ali, Stevie said, not a question, a statement, like he could sense who was in the room before anyone spoke. The champion, the poet, the man who stood up to the government and won. It's an honor. Stevie Wonder, Ali replied, the genius, the voice, the man who makes blind people see and sighted people blind. The honor is mine. They shook hands. That first contact. Ali felt Stevie's grip, strong, certain, the hands of someone who had spent a lifetime translating the world through touch, through sound, through senses most people ignored. Sit with me, Stevie said, gesturing to the piano bench. I want to play you something I've been working on. Get your thoughts. Ali sat, close, right next to Stevie at the piano, close enough to feel the music vibrate through the bench, through their bodies, the way Stevie must experience it, not just hearing, but feeling, music as a physical presence. Stevie played, something beautiful, something unfinished, something that sounded like hope and struggle and transcendence all at once. His fingers dancing, his body swaying, completely immersed, completely present, mesmerized, not just by the music, but by Stevie's relationship with it. The intimacy, the way there was no separation between Stevie and the sound he was creating. No performance, no audience awareness, just pure creation. When Stevie finished, there was silence, the kind of silence that follows something profound, where speaking too quickly would violate what just happened. That's beautiful, Ali said finally. That's really beautiful. Thank you. It's about seeing without eyes, about perception, about how what we think we see is often not what's really there, about how blindness can be a gift if you let it teach you. Ali nodded, then realized Stevie couldn't see him nodding. I understand that. I've been called blind my whole life, blind to reality, blind to consequences, blind to what I should do. But I see things they don't see. I see truth they're afraid to look at. Stevie turned toward Ali, not looking at him, not in the way sighted people look. Attention focused completely on him. Can I? Stevie raised his hand, gesturing toward Ali's face. Ali understood. Yeah, sure. Stevie reached up, found Ali's face with his hands, started exploring gently, the way a sculptor might examine their work, the way a doctor might examine a patient. the way someone who sees through touch would see. His fingers traced Ali's forehead, his cheekbones, his jaw, the strong features that made Ali recognizable anywhere, that had been on magazine covers and television screens around the world, that represented strength and confidence and invincibility. But as Stevie's fingers moved, something changed in his expression. A shadow crossed his face, concern, confusion, like he was feeling something he didn't expect, something wrong. His fingers moved to Ali's eyes, traced around them gently, felt the muscles, the small tremors that had started appearing in the last year. So subtle, Ali himself barely acknowledged them. Just stress, just fatigue, just the cost of too many fights. Nothing serious. Stevie's hands stopped moving, stayed on Ali's face, his expression shifting from concern to something deeper, something like recognition, like he was understanding something he didn't want to understand. "Muhammad," Stevie said quietly, his voice different, the playfulness gone, something serious entering, something heavy. "Can I ask you something personal?" "Yeah, of course." "Your eyes, the muscles around them, your face. I'm feeling something, small tremors, tiny movements you probably don't even notice, but they're there, consistent, rhythmic, like your body is doing something you're not controlling." Ali felt defensive. "It's nothing, just tired, been training hard, been doing a lot of press. My body's exhausted." Stevie shook his head, his hands still on Ali's face. "No, this is different. I felt exhaustion, I felt stress. This is something else. This is neurological. This is your nervous system. Something's not right. You're a musician, not a doctor. I'm blind. I've spent my whole life understanding the human body through touch, through vibration, through the things sighted people ignore. I know what I'm feeling, and I'm telling you, something is wrong." Ali pulled back, gently, not wanting to offend but not wanting to hear this, not wanting to acknowledge what he'd been ignoring, what he'd been afraid might be true. "I'm fine, Stevie, really. I appreciate the concern, but I'm fine." Stevie sat there, silent for a moment, then spoke again, quieter, more careful, like he was about to say something he knew Ali didn't want to hear, but needed to say anyway. "Muhammad, I need to tell you something, and I know you're not going to want to hear it, but I care about you too much to stay silent. What I'm feeling in your face, in your eyes, in your muscles, I've felt it before. People with neurological conditions, people whose bodies are starting to betray them in ways they don't understand yet." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying you need to see a doctor, a neurologist, someone who specializes in movement disorders, because what I'm feeling isn't normal fatigue. It's not stress, it's your nervous system misfiring. And if I'm right, if what I think is happening, it's only going to get worse." Ali stood up. "You're wrong. You're feeling things that aren't there. I'm Muhammad Ali. I'm the heavyweight champion of the world. I'm in perfect health. I'm at the peak of my abilities. There's nothing wrong with me." Stevie remained seated, his face sad. "I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But Muhammad, I'm going to say something to you that's going to sound crazy, that's going to sound impossible. But I need you to hear it, because one day, maybe years from now, you're going to remember this conversation, and you're going to know I was right." "What?" Stevie took a breath. "You're going blind. Not immediately, not the way I'm blind, but you're losing the ability to see clearly, to focus, to track movement. And it's going to get worse. The tremors I'm feeling around your eyes, they're going to spread to your hands, your arms, your whole body, and eventually the world is going to become harder to see, harder to navigate, harder to control." Ali felt anger rising. "You don't know what you're talking about. You're blind. You can't see me. You can't diagnose me by touching my face for 2 minutes. This is ridiculous." "You're right. I'm blind, but blindness has taught me to see things sighted people miss. And I'm seeing something in you right now, something you're not ready to acknowledge, something you're afraid of, because acknowledging it means accepting that you're not invincible, that your body can fail, that being Muhammad Ali doesn't make you immune to the same things that affect everyone else. Get out. Ali's voice was hard, angry, defensive. I came here to enjoy your music, to have a nice conversation, not to be diagnosed with some imaginary disease by someone who thinks touching my face makes them a doctor. Stevie stood, found his cane, his movements sure despite the darkness, despite being in an unfamiliar space, despite Ali's anger radiating through the room. I'm leaving, but before I go, I'm going to ask you to do something. I'm going to ask you to see a doctor, a real neurologist, get tested, get a full examination. Not because I want to be right, I desperately want to be wrong, but because if I'm right, early diagnosis could help, could slow things down, could prepare you for what's coming. Nothing's coming. There's nothing wrong with me. Stevie walked toward the door, stopped, turned back toward where Ali was standing. Muhammad, one more thing. When this starts getting worse, when the tremors become impossible to ignore, when your vision starts betraying you, when your body starts moving in ways you don't control, I want you to remember something. What? You're not going blind the way I'm blind. You're going blind to the world you knew. The world where your body obeyed you, where movement was automatic, where fighting was natural. That world is going to disappear, and a new world is going to appear. A world where you have to fight differently, where your courage has to come from a different place, where being Muhammad Ali means something new. You're crazy. Maybe, but I'm also right, and you know it. Somewhere deep down, you know something's wrong. You've known for months, maybe longer. You've just been too afraid to admit it, too proud to accept it. But Muhammad, pride won't stop what's happening in your nervous system. Only acknowledgement can do that. Only facing it. Only getting help. Stevie left. The door closed. Ali stood alone in the dim studio, angry, shaken, afraid. Because somewhere underneath all the denial and the defensiveness and the anger, he knew Stevie was right. He'd been feeling the tremors for months, had been noticing his vision getting slightly less sharp, had been experiencing moments where his body didn't quite respond the way it used to. But acknowledging it meant accepting something impossible. Muhammad Ali didn't get sick. Muhammad Ali didn't have neurological problems. Muhammad Ali was invincible, perfect, untouchable. Admitting weakness meant betraying everything he'd built, everything he represented. So Ali did what he'd done for months. He ignored it, pushed it down, convinced himself Stevie was wrong, that the tremors were just fatigue, that the vision problems were just age, that everything was fine, that he was fine. He didn't see a neurologist, didn't get tested, didn't acknowledge what his body was trying to tell him. Instead, he kept fighting, kept training, kept being Muhammad Ali, kept pretending that willpower could overcome biology, that belief could defeat disease, that Muhammad Ali could beat anything, including his own nervous system. The tremors got worse, slowly, imperceptibly at first, then undeniably. His hands started shaking, his movements became stiffer, his speech started slurring slightly, his vision became harder to focus. Everything Stevie had predicted, everything Ali had refused to acknowledge. It took 3 more years. 1978. The tremors were impossible to ignore, impossible to explain away as fatigue or stress or training too hard. The movement problems were affecting his boxing in ways that couldn't be dismissed. His footwork slower, his reflexes delayed, his legendary speed compromised. His doctors finally insisted on tests, comprehensive neurological examinations, brain scans showing things that shouldn't be there, blood work revealing chemical imbalances, movement assessments documenting the deterioration. Everything. The diagnosis came back definitive and devastating. Parkinson's disease, a progressive neurological disorder that affects movement systematically and relentlessly, that causes tremors that never stop, that makes muscles rigid and unresponsive, that impairs balance and coordination in ways that transform simple tasks into battles, that affects vision and speech and every single aspect of physical control, that has no cure, that only gets worse, that steals your body piece by piece while leaving your mind trapped inside watching the theft. The doctor explained carefully, sensitively, that it had probably been developing for years, that early diagnosis might have helped significantly, that there were treatments that worked better when started early in the disease progression, that Ali had lost precious time by not getting checked when symptoms first appeared, when intervention might have slowed things down, given him more good years, more time before the disease became undeniable and unmanageable. Ali sat in the doctor's office, hearing this clinical explanation, and remembered. The memory hitting him like a punch he couldn't dodge. Remembered that night in 1975 at the record plant studio. Remembered Stevie's hands on his face, feeling things invisible to eyes. Remembered the warning, delivered with such certainty and care. Remembered, "You're going blind too." Remembered the prophecy he dismissed as impossible. Remembered throwing Stevie out. Remembered his anger and defensiveness and absolute certainty that Stevie was wrong. Remembered everything he'd spent 3 years denying. Everything he'd been too proud to accept. Everything that might have been different if he'd just listened. Stevie had been right about everything. Had felt it in Ali's face, in those tiny tremors, in the neurological misfiring that was just beginning. Had seen without eyes what Ali couldn't see with them. Had known 3 years before doctors confirmed it. Had tried to help. Had tried to warn. And Ali had thrown him out. Over the years, as the Parkinson's progressed, as Ali's body slowly betrayed him, as his movement became more difficult and his speech more slurred and his vision more compromised, he thought about that night often, thought about Stevie's prophecy, thought about the warning he'd ignored, thought about the pride that had cost him early treatment. In the 1980s, Ali and Stevie reconnected at an event, a charity fundraiser in New York, both older now, both still legends but wearing their years differently. Stevie still creating music that moved the world, still innovating, still seeing through sound in ways that left people speechless. Ali still inspiring people despite the disease now visibly affecting him. The tremors obvious to anyone watching, the movement slow and deliberate, the speech difficult and slurred, the transformation from the dancing butterfly to the struggling fighter, heartbreaking to witness. When they were introduced, there was a moment of recognition, of shared history, of a prophecy fulfilled, of a warning ignored, of consequences lived. The room around them faded, the crowd disappeared. Just two men standing in the weight of what had passed between them a decade earlier. They talked. The conversation stilted because Ali's Parkinson's made communication hard, made every word an effort. But Stevie understood, seemed to hear what Ali was trying to say, even when the words wouldn't come. "You were right," Ali managed to say, the words slow, effortful, but clear enough. That night, 1975, you were right about everything. Stevie reached out, found Ali's hand, held it. The tremor immediately evident. The thing Stevie had felt beginning 13 years earlier, now fully developed. Undeniable. Tragic. "I wish I'd been wrong," Stevie said, his voice heavy, sad. "I've never wanted to be wrong about something more in my life. You tried to help, to warn me. I was too proud to listen, too scared, too invested in being invincible. Pride is human, fear is human. You were at the top of the world. Nobody wants to hear they're falling when they're flying. I understand." They stood there, two legends, both understanding what it meant to lose something essential. Stevie had lost his physical sight, but learned to see differently. Ali was losing his physical control, but learning to fight differently. Both navigating worlds that had changed, that required new kinds of strength. "The blindness you predicted," Ali said slowly, "it's not just vision. I'm blind to the world I used to inhabit, the world where my body obeyed me, where movement was automatic, where being Muhammad Ali meant being unstoppable. That world is gone. I'm blind to it now, just like you said." Stevie squeezed Ali's trembling hand. "But you can still see what matters. Injustice. What needs fighting for? Your body is failing, but your real vision is still perfect. Maybe better than before. Because now you see from humility, from vulnerability, from knowing you're human." Ali nodded, the movement small, but meaningful. "Thank you for trying to warn me, for seeing what I couldn't, for being right even when I hated you for it. I didn't want to be right, but I'm glad you found your way. Glad you're still fighting, just different battles now. The lesson is devastating and profound. Sometimes the truth comes from unexpected places. Sometimes people who can't see with their eyes see more clearly than those who can. Sometimes prophecies aren't mystical visions or supernatural gifts. They're just observation, careful attention, deep listening, noticing what others miss because they're looking with their eyes instead of truly seeing, because they're too close to the problem, too invested in denial, too afraid of what acknowledging the truth would mean. Stevie Wonder saw Muhammad Ali's future in 1975 by touching his face for a few minutes, felt the beginning of something catastrophic, felt the tiny tremors that signaled a nervous system starting to fail, felt what doctors wouldn't confirm for 3 more years, tried to warn him, tried desperately to help, urged him to see specialists, to get tested early when treatment might have made a difference. But pride and fear and the weight of being Muhammad Ali blocked the message, created a wall the warning couldn't penetrate, cost precious time, cost early intervention, cost years of denial. The tragedy isn't just that Stevie was right. The tragedy is that he knew with certainty he would be, that he felt the disease beginning in Ali's face and knew exactly where it would lead, that he tried to prevent suffering and was powerless to do so, that being right brought him no satisfaction whatsoever, just deep sadness, just the crushing weight of having seen disaster approaching and being unable to stop it because the person who needed to hear couldn't bear to listen. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear that pride can blind us more completely than any physical blindness ever could. That warnings from unexpected sources deserve serious attention. That seeing without eyes is sometimes more accurate than seeing with them. That Stevie Wonder saw what Muhammad Ali refused to acknowledge. And that sometimes the hardest truth to accept is our own vulnerability, our own mortality, our own fragile humanity hiding underneath the armor of invincibility we've built. Subscribe for more stories about prophecies that came tragically true and warnings that went unheeded until too late. And remember, when someone tells you they see something wrong, especially someone who perceives the world differently than you do, listen with every part of yourself. Don't let pride or fear or denial block wisdom that could save you. Because Stevie Wonder was right about Muhammad Ali. And Ali spent the rest of his life wishing he believed him 3 years sooner, before doctors confirmed what Stevie's hands had known all along. Before the prophecy became unchangeable reality. Before blindness became not a warning, but a destiny.